Hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give you another very exciting video. And for today, we got to talk about some big, shocking news and something that really definitely caught me off guard because last week on some random Tuesday old morning, Nintendo decided to wake up on the opposite side of the bed when we expect them to roll over here on this side of the bed because for the longest time, people have been, waiting for the longest for a Nintendo Switch successor to be fully unveiled. One week they got us, they announced an alarm clock. The other week they happened to talk about Nintendo Switch online playtest. So people have been guessing every single week for like nearly like the whole month of October and a little bit of September as well, saying this is gonna be the week, this is gonna be the week. And Nintendo's like, nah, we're the kings of left field, and don't y'all forget it though, because they managed to hit us with a Wii U port that for the longest time we were thinking that it wasn't gonna be possible. We got interviews from them saying how it was gonna cost a lot of money and it didn't seem feasible at the time though. But ladies and gentlemen, they done did it because Xenoblade Chronicles X is getting a definitive edition, much like the original Xenoblade Chronicles way back in the day on the Switch. And it's getting a definitive edition and it's coming out in 2025. To be precise, March 20th. So that kind of got me to think and wonder. I was like, man, this is like one of the last few Wii U ports. So I got to go ahead and give my thoughts on that. But it also kind of raising the question in mind, like, doesn't that possibly change some thoughts in terms of when that Nintendo Switch 2 successor could be announced? And I'm going to give y'all the 100%, almost nearly straight facts right now because I have a good feeling how this thing is going to play out. And it might be totally different from those other people out there that are claiming, hey, it's going to come out on this week. They be changing their minds left and right, though. So I'm going to give it to you straight and give y'all the answer that y'all might not necessarily want to hear, though, but it might be closer to factual at this point, though. So we might as well go ahead and jump up in this video, though. So if you hadn't already done so, make sure you're going to hit that like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, this is a very interesting game. Like, this was like one of the very last few Wii U ports that we needed to get from the Wii U over to the Nintendo Switch. I know there's a few other ones out there, such as like Yoshi's Woolly World, Nintendo Land, maybe that WarioWare game that was on the Wii U, surprisingly enough, though. But everything else has either gotten, sequels to previous games on the Wii U or got straight ports. And Xenoblade Chronicles X, for the longest time, I just didn't know if they were ever going to do it. There were so many different interviews back in the day where they were like, oh, it just didn't seem feasible or it cost too much money. I don't know if they were necessarily making excuses or trying to throw us off their trail or whatever though, but hey, we managed to get definitive edition for the first Xenoblade Chronicles. We got Xenoblade 2, 3, everything Xenoblade out there was available where you can buy it on the Nintendo Switch. Everything was missing except for Xenoblade Chronicles X. And even when you looked at the original Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U, that game was like a technical showcase almost, but it had some issues here and there though. Like, it was pretty ambitious of a game, but you had to go in there and download texture packs for this thing though in order to have the game running a little bit better. And I do remember back whenever the Nintendo eShop was about to close down, a lot of people were scrambling, including myself. I already had a Wii U, but I never had Xenoblade Chronicles X at the time. That was before I even managed to get into Xenoblade Chronicles. I didn't get into Xenoblade Chronicles until like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I was scrambling just trying to make sure I downloaded the texture packs and stuff so that way I could just, go back and play this game at a given point once I had a little bit more free time available though. But now that they managed to announce this game and it is coming out in 2025, hey, I'm fully looking forward to jumping up in this. I know it's not going to be necessarily as story heavy as like your number Xenoblades from 1 through 3. However, I think there's still a lot of good things that they managed to do up in here, and it has like a totally different structure, vibe, and feel within Xenoblade Chronicles X versus those numbered titles though. And they did say that they were going to add in some extra bit of story beat stuff because if you happen to play that game, they did leave you off on a pretty bad cliffhanger in the original version though, and it seems like they're going to go back and elaborate on it, much like how they kind of added extra stuff like with the future connected part within Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Definitive Edition. They're kind of giving that same a little bit of effect within this one game though. So I love to see it, and along with any other things that they happen to modernize or make a little bit better though. And then even just looking at the graphics of the game, it looks that much more impressive though. So I was like, heck freaking yes though. So I'm all here for it though. Now that brings into the bigger question. You know, Xenoblade Chronicles X, it's all cool, fine, and dandy and stuff, especially since it's like one of the last few games to be ported from the Wii U. But the fact that it's being released in March 20th, in 2025, it got the people to think and wonder, it's like, wait a minute, what did this potentially mean in terms of this Nintendo Switch 2? Because that's what everybody and their mama really wants. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to be hyped and through the moon whenever they do finally manage to showcase and reveal that Nintendo Switch 2. However, you got to take things as they come, and you got to think more so from the business point perspective versus just purely going off of the fan point perspective. And what I mean by that is, as of the point right now when this video has came out, there was no Nintendo Switch 2 announcement within the month of October though. People were predicting that every single week on the weekly though, but now we're into like what, first week of November with no news in sight. And if you're thinking from a business point perspective, even if I were Nintendo, and you know they are the kings of left field, this is going to be one of the very last years that the Nintendo Switch is going to be the only Nintendo console on the market soloing before that successor will likely come out next year. So you would think from a business point perspective that Nintendo is going to want to put all their eggs into one basket and let this Nintendo Switch ride out for one more holiday season before they manage to talk about any other future endeavors with their sequel console. And that's honestly where my mind has been kind of going at lately, because I knew if they did not announce this thing in October, which there was a decent chance, a lot of people were basing that based on the October 2016 reveal for the Nintendo NX that it was codenamed at the time before we knew it as the Nintendo Switch. I think a lot of people were just basing some of their thoughts on that though. But my gut was kind of telling me there's a good chance, especially if the whole month of October comes and goes without it being announced, they ain't gonna bring up any kind of conversations with this until the holiday season is done with. After Christmas, I would say January at the earliest will probably be when we'll see the Nintendo Switch 2 be fully unveiled. Because if you remember back to, you know, earlier this year around some of their financial reportings, they said it's going to be announced within this fiscal year. So that means March 31st at the latest will be when they have to talk about it, or not talk about it. They really have to show it at that point though. So, the clock is ticking just a little bit though, but I imagine they still got to, get a bit of time though. So I'm thinking maybe January or probably February is probably when they're going to announce it. And even if they were using the same kind of time frame windows from what they did with the Switch, whenever they first unveiled it in that October trailer to when they dropped it out in March, that was about a 5-month-ish turnaround. So even if they drop like a trailer or something for January or February, that could mean that I would say this console is probably going to launch around some point in the summer, probably June or in the month of July. That's what my gut is saying. At worst, it'll be sometime fall, but it might be a little bit before, I would say, the holiday season, because I imagine I want to kind of get the diehard people to buy those consoles first and then turn around and have, a little bit more of a casual audience that's picking up around the traditional holiday season and such. So that way, they're able to build up enough stock and stuff like that, though. So I know this is not necessarily the news that everybody kind of wanted to hear, though. But after seeing Xenoblade Chronicles X be announced like that, and, I'm not trying to undermine that announcement, because that's literally a big announcement that you literally will start off or you will conclude your Nintendo Directs with. Like, they've done that with, like, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and stuff. They've done that with Xenoblade 3. Like, those are big, major announcements from Monolith Soft, which I think is like one of Nintendo's like big bread and butter companies in terms of them being able to pump out all these games and run support for all their stuff. Like, they give them a little bit more of a special treatment, I feel like, at least with that one, rightfully so. And for them to just shadow drop that as like a quarter announcement makes me think they're kind of getting some stuff out of the way, or they're kind of in this limbo-ish period where it's like, okay, we don't have enough to showcase off in a direct. However, whatever would have been in the direct was probably going to be saved for like maybe a grander Nintendo Switch showcasey kind of thing that we had with the January showcase in 2017. So they say, hey, in the meantime, we're just gonna have to go ahead and put that announcement out just to kind of buy time until whenever that big old showcase reveal happens to play out though. So, you know, just having that one announcement kind of changes the things and a little bit of scope. So if you see anybody else talking about this Nintendo Switch announcement or reveal that happened in any of the given weeks of November or December, you better take that mess with a grain of salt, because I'm almost tired of seeing people always talking about this mess though. And you know, after seeing this announcement right here, that got me to feel pretty good with my gut feeling and saying, hey, yes, there's a good chance this ain't going to be brought up until 2025. So y'all may as well go ahead and turn off them alarm clocks. I saw that one person that literally left like a month, not a month, but like a clock countdown for like day, minute, second, hour, all the way through. And I was like, what the heck? Like, y'all got to stop this mess. Like, that's just crazy right there though. But y'all got to let me know down in the comment section down below, what all did you think about that random announcement for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition getting ported over to the Nintendo Switch? You don't got to wait long for this mess. It does come out in March of 2025. So let me know if you're excited, if you're going to be able to pick that up physical or digital. And then also let me know, did this also kind of change your mind in terms of what you're kind of expecting with the Nintendo Switch 2? And does that kind of tamper more expectations? At this point, I really hope it does, because I'm honestly just really tired of seeing people talk about this thing every single week. And, you know, clock is right 2 times a day, right? And eventually one of these people are gonna get it to stick though. But if you pull up them receipts, like, you know, this is getting a little suspect at best. That's all I'm gonna say about that though. But yeah, just let me know. But that's gonna basically do it in terms of today's video though. So if you really like this, make sure you're gonna hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.